So we've tested all 6 450s here at Ottobiano. We used 2 tracks. The main one what you're going to see is going to be quite flat. It's not the GP track, but it was good fun to have a ride round there on that track and just really open up the 450s and see what they've really got, you know. And it's something different. We also went on the GP spec track, which is a little bit rougher. Got a feel for how the suspension works there, you know, across the board really. So it's been really enjoyable, and it's been a fun day, and really got a good feel for what the bikes have got to offer. So for 2018, Suzuki come out with a whole new model on the 450 range. You know, they had a new engine, new suspension, new look. Engine was changed slightly. They've gone in a little bit of a different direction. The bike now hasn't changed too much. They've just revised it on a few little bits. It's still got that little bit of an old feel to it. It's got a good drive to it, which is really good, but across for the rest of the range, you can feel that it's a little bit down on power. It's got that little bit of a old school feel to it, which most people will like. And I know that the general clubman, you know, was going to favour the Suzuki 450, and you know, he's going to love riding the bike. But just when you back to back it against the rest of the range, you can still feel that it's still a little bit dated in the power department and the way that it's delivered. Also as well, the bike is a little bit rigid. We said this last year, and it's still a little bit rigid this year. Good news is that I've had a 2018 for all year, and the more that you ride the bike, the more the bike seems to free up and seems to get better. Once you get the front end freed up a little bit and the rear shock obviously working good, then the bike really does put a smile on your face, and it's good fun, and it's bulletproof. One of the best things about Suzuki is, you know, it's on price point and it's good value for money. The 2019 Kawasaki, it's not a KXF anymore, it's just KX450. The bike has been changed, and you know, it's been revised from the ground up. I am a fan of the bike. I really do like the bike. I like the way that it feels. It's up on power. You know, the suspension is being revised. The frame is good. The linkage is good. The swinging arm's good. The electric start, hydraulic clutch. You know, it's got all the things that basically should make it really competitive with its competitors. But still, again, really good bike. You know, delivers a good drive, comes out of the turns nice. It's one of them bikes that's improved from its previous model, but it's still just lacking a little bit to its competitors. I don't know whether that's just whether it feels a little bit heavy or a little bit old school just to the Honda and the Yamaha. Certainly the weight is an issue. I'm sure that they're going to be working on that for 2020. I was really hard to split these next two, to be honest. So I'm, you know, going to make them joint quite equal. The Honda and the Yamaha. So, but if I touch base on the Honda quickly, Honda's gone up on horsepower. It's like 2 brake up on horsepower. It's got a new frame, new swinging arm, new linkage. Suspension's a little bit firmer. New ECU settings. And the bike, you can really feel that the bike does have that extra grunt when it comes out of the turns. The list of modifications extends a lot more than what I've obviously said. You know, it's got a factory front brake caliper now, which is a 30mm piston. The pistons are bigger than previous years. The header pipe, and we could go on like the boot box. There's certain little things, but the main thing that you can notice is the frame, where it comes up from the foot pegs, and you can really feel that the bike is improved out on track. The stability of the bike is a lot better than previously. Less kick, you've got more wheelbase travel. One of the things that I like about the Honda is the way that you can carve the track up. You know, it's that old Honda trait that allows you to basically move around the track at will, how you feel you want to do it, get creative, and that's definitely the case for the 2019 CRF 450. The YZ450, Yamaha had a big change last year in 2018. So it's just basically refining the model for 2019, you know, and the main aim was to basically smooth out the power a little bit more. The bike does feel more planted. Obviously from last year it is slimmer. It's one of those bikes that when you get on and at your ride, the thing that I like about it is the sound. You know, it just puts a smile on your face. It sounds totally different to any other four-stroke that was out there on the market. It just gives you some confidence, and if you're a little bit higher up a level and you want to bounce around and do some certain things on the Yam, then it allows you to do it just because of the way that the throttle connection is on the Yam. That throttle to rear wheel connection, it's spot on, and it's just all that quarter throttle. It just allows you just to pick the front wheel up or bounce over the bumps type deal, and it's just one of those bikes that you ride and you feel really comfortable on. And also as well, like the Honda, you can just pull out the van and you can just go and ride, and it's all just like, you know, setting it up, the basic settings of setting up your sag and a few clicks here and there, and you're going to have a bike that's really competitive and that you're going to feel really comfortable on. The next two, obviously, they're really close and very similar, but the Husqvarna will be the next one for me. We all know that the KTM and the Husqvarna, they've changed massively for 2019 model year. Both bikes are seeing the identical frames and swinging arms. Slight few little different changes regarding with the Husky to the KTM, but like the main things are obviously the gearbox, the 5-speed gearbox, and just the way that they have it geared. Maybe it's a little bit different with the ECU settings, but the Husky for me, it's just down to gearing, you know, and the way that the bike rides. Like normally I was always a fan of the 5-speed gearbox. It's just this time I don't feel that it's quite right, and I feel like you need to adjust it a little. It's kind of in between gears. I'd probably be looking at changing that front sprocket, you know, and going up a tooth. But the bike again, you know, hydraulic clutch, electric start, dual mapping, one of the lightest bikes on the market. It's just one of those bikes that's so competitive to the other bikes that's in its class. You're kind of at a disadvantage if you don't have one. The KTM 450 2019, you know, with a 4-speed gearbox, how light it is, electric start, hydraulic clutch, air forks, the suspension set to meet the needs for most this year, and I feel that it does that. You know, the bike in itself, the way that it tracks out the turns and the gearbox and the way that the rev range and everything all works, it's all in sweet harmony. You know, it's the fastest on the market, it's the lightest on the market, and you can certainly maneuver the bike where you like around the track at the moment as well. And KTM have been developing this bike a lot over the years, and mainly they've been taking a lot of information from the GP riders and the GP teams, and they've been putting it into place. You know, for 2019, the bike is just absolutely awesome, and you're hard pushed to not like the bike, especially if you're a competitive man, and you know, then you're going to be wanting a KTM 450 for sure. You know, the 4-speed gearbox in the KTM 450, you know, it works really well out on track, and it drives so good. So previously, before, I'd always felt that second, it always felt like it was maybe a little bit punchier, a little bit short, whereas now it just feels like the bike actually drives. You get an extra meterage out of second, but also it allows you to ride it in third. Before as well, you could feel that maybe fourth gear, you was on certain tracks, especially on the ones where we was flat out today, that, you know, that fourth gear would maybe, you could run it out, but you can't. There's no, you're not running those gears out, and that's the reason why I like the KTM so much. You know, it ticks all the boxes, and the power and the drive, it just seems to be tracking so good at the moment, and that's what it's about. You know, we need to get that power to the ground, you need the stability, and you certainly get that from the 2019 KTM 450.